All right, welcome to Helmets and Hoops today. We got Haytham, Hassan, Sean, Samlal. We're going to talk today a little NBA. First two episodes we had NFL, so we're going to switch it up on you guys for you. Today we're going to go through the hypothetical NBA award winners. If we're hoping for the NBA to happen. We're still out with this quarantine COVID thing. So yeah, we're going to jump right into it. We're going to start right at the top. It's going to be the MVP vote. Haytham, you want to start us off?
Yeah, I think me and you are probably agree on this one. Probably the only one that we agree on this whole time. But I got Giannis going back to back.
Yeah.
Averaging 29.6, 13.8 rebounds, 5.8 assists, a steal a game, and the best record in the league. Giannis. I mean, there's no other. I mean, LeBron and Luka are my second and third, but you got to give Giannis for his back to back.
Yeah, and the thing about Giannis is that it's not so much the stats what he's doing, but the dominance that they're winning their games. They played against the Lakers. They beat them in LA, months ago now. But he's taking a step forward. He's starting to hit a threes with more regularity, with more regular, or at least attempt them.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. Because Giannis, he still isn't a 3-1 shooter at all. He can get some mid-range shots in, but he's definitely not a 3-1 shooter.
No, he's definitely
just a slasher.
Yeah, he's best when he's running a straight line right at the basket, 2 steps from the 3-point line, and he's dunking on your head. I think I don't know what it is, maybe because the whole shift in the NBA where there aren't these superpowers where there are 3 and 4 superstar teams, mainly the Warriors, and now everyone's in pairs. So Giannis is as good as 1.5 superstars. So now it's really just comes down to it's a game of matchups if and when they get to the playoffs. So it was going to be interesting because they perform really well in games where they're going prime time against the top teams in the league, where they're only, maybe 3 or 4 of them at this point. But I think it's more about the dominance that he's shown so far in the NBA season, more so than the raw numbers of what he's done.
I mean, the numbers don't hurt. He's killing it this year. But
they brought back essentially the same team from last year. They haven't made any big changes. They haven't acquired a ton of big names or anything like that. The core is still the same. They got Bledsoe, Middleton, Brook Lopez is still there.
No, I'm saying they lost a lot of people, in my opinion.
I don't think they lost anyone that really mattered.
Brogdon is a beast.
They've not gotten better, but they haven't missed a step. I mean,
they have great coaching. That's what it is. Mike Budenholzer is a beast of a coach. He learned from Popovich.
Yeah. He's been good from
his San Antonio days.
San Antonio to Atlanta. He's taken it to Milwaukee, and he's just elevated. I think the difference between what he's done in Milwaukee as compared to Atlanta is that he has a superstar. Where Atlanta they win 60-something games and they looked amazing during the regular season, but when they needed to get the ball into one person's hand,
they collapsed in the playoffs that year.
Right, they didn't have anyone. LeBron swept them, as he's done to many teams. But yeah, I don't think there's really much debate for who it's going to be besides Giannis. Luka's been electric; he's been great, but Luka more so plays only one side of the floor, in my opinion. Still great. But
he almost averaged a triple-double in his second year. That's wild. And, I mean, it's crazy for Luka and LeBron, one player being in his second year and one player being in his, 17th season? Yeah, so. It's wild. They're, both of them are MVP consideration. It's crazy that LeBron's still putting these numbers and, doing that work, in year 17.
For me, it's easier for LeBron because he has another superstar there. He's got AD. What do you think about Luka? Do you consider Porzingis a star?
I think he's a star, not a superstar.
Yeah, because he was ascending there before the injury 2 years ago.
Yeah, he was.
And he hasn't looked like himself. Even when Luka went out for the week and a half, 2 weeks, Porzingis didn't take over like I would expect him to.
I mean, no, but he's still doing really well, and he's still. I heard a lot of people when he got hurt saying, "Oh, he's never gonna come back to being a good player. He's never gonna be the same." He's not the same as he was before the injury, but he's still really great. And before the injury, he was looking like he was gonna be a one in a generational type player.
Right, but listen to the way you're talking about him. You're saying, he didn't do great, but
Yeah, I get that.
He's not great, but he's good. like that. I think before his injury, we would say, especially his first year that he came out, he's the unicorn, something we've never seen before. 7'4", is able to handle the basketball like a guard and shoot it like a guard. So I think that and the Knicks traded him away for a bunch of garbage and used whatever.
Just Knicks are a trash organization.
I mean, anyways, I can't
James
speak
Dolan
to
is
it.
the worst.
Right. So I think it says a lot that when you're just the mood or the tone that people are talking about Porzingis is very much just like, no, he's good. Like you're trying to convince yourself, I feel as though when you're saying it, and we know he's a good player, but we expected more.
Do you want to know his numbers for this year?
Oh, you got it?
Yeah. 19.2 points a game and 9.5 rebounds. That's almost a double-double, almost getting 20 and 10.
Those sound. I mean, this is not a comparison, but just off the top of my head, like a 19.2 or whatever it is, 19 some change, and then 9 is fine. But like, what's Hassan Whiteside averaging? I would say he's somewhere around those numbers with 7 blocks. Is Porzingis doing at least that?
Hassan, I mean, you're using Hassan, one of Hassan's Whiteside's best years in his career. It's probably his second best year in his career. And Hassan Whiteside isn't a bad player. He's just inconsistent. So I feel like that's a bad comparison.
Well, just pulling like names out of a hat. Zach Randolph. He was a good 20 and 10 guy. I felt like for a good 3-4 years at the peak of his powers.
So are you saying he's bad?
No. I'm saying like from our expectations, saying like, oh, he's doing really good, and it was like 20 and 10. It's like, yeah, he's doing good, but that's not what we want. We want from our superstars, where we expect them to do. We just expect more from him. He has all the tools to do it. I mean, he could, he's probably weighs less than me, but still, he has all the skills. He's shown that he's able to handle the ball. I don't know if it's like a mental hurdle he's trying to get over.
He's a 7'3" center who had a torn ACL. Like that's a big hurdle you're over.
True, but his game isn't, bang down low with the bigs.
But he's slashing a lot. That's worse.
He should probably change it up. I mean, he can shoot it. He can stay out there. And if it comes down to it, the guys that are guarding him are much slower than he is. So I mean, unless he has a PJ Tucker on him and with that foolishness. But I mean, the guys he could take out people out deep and then drown them out there. Hit a 3 right in their eye. If not, then take them to the hoop. He has the ability. I think he's a capable passer. So I think he just needs to switch up his game a little bit to more benefit.
He's still young,
right? And he's I think 23.
He is 24, 25.
So I mean, plenty of time.
And he's about. This is year 4 for him, so he still has plenty of time.
Oof, it's 4. Wow, I thought it was 3. I guess no,
4.
he was hurt. Second, yeah. Sorry. Whew. Time goes by.
It does. It really does.
But anyways, got off topic a little bit. Anything else to say about MVP Giannis?
No. Giannis back to back.
Yeah. He's easily my favorite player in the league.
About to join Steph Curry, Steve Nash, Tim Duncan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Moses Malone, LeBron James, Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan, Bill Russell, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as multiple MVP winners.
Shaq only had it once.
He got robbed a few times. I think Nash.
That's the Steve Nash.
Do you think Steve Nash deserves those MVPs? Just like quick little.
No, I don't think so. I think that it was more so they didn't want to have to give it to Shaq. He was so dominant during that time. And he only won 1. It's not like he had won 3, 4, 5 or something. It was rattling off a bunch of them. I mean, LeBron has 4 of them. So I don't know. And he wins the game by outpowering everyone else. But Shaq's game. 5. Oh, I'm thinking about championships.
And he has 3 at those.
Oh, shit. What's happening? I thought he had 4. Anyways. I guess it just wasn't sexy, but I don't think that Steve Nash deserved both. Definitely the first one, I think. But the second one, I think it could have been a toss-up, and I think it was more narrative-driven, where a lot of these awards are, because these awards are voted on by sports media. It's not by the players that are playing against them or the coaches or anything like that.
So I think the first one, I think he deserved because it was his first year in a new team, and they had the best record in the league, and he was the reason for it. And him and D'Antoni really, because that offense is perfect for Steve Nash,
right?
And he had the right pieces on that team, with with Jason Richardson.
Surprised you don't start by saying Amari Stoudemire.
So there's a lot of players. He even had Joe Johnson at one point.
No, yeah, that was fun. Joe Johnson, not old man 3-on-3 Joe Johnson.
Yeah, man,
it's fun to watch, but that's more so like for like a history of the game thing.
Yeah, but anyway, that was just a little thing on the Steve Nash MVPs. But we're gonna move on to Defensive Player of the Year. I feel like this is one you actually might agree on. I don't think Rudy Gobert is in a three-peat. I think Anthony Davis is about to get a Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
2.5 blocks per game, 1.5 steals per game, and 9.5 rebounds. And Lakers are third defensive rating in the league, so I think Anthony Davis did get that one.
Yeah, and I wonder how this whole COVID thing is going to affect the voting because Gobert was the first one with it. Unfortunate how it all turned out, and I know he didn't know he had it and things like that. But I wonder if he will, because I think it's pretty obvious that he was, top 2 or 3 in the running. I wonder if he gets dropped because people are just like, I don't want to vote for that guy.
Why? Because his immune system has no defense, so he has none either. No, but I don't know. I think I don't see why not. Like, yeah, he was an idiot for it, and he's probably gonna get moved from the team because of that. But I don't think that should affect what he did until that point.
But what happens if they come back and they play another 15, 20 games or whatever remaining of the season, whatever they decide, and Gobert isn't playing because they alienated him and they're trying to trade him or something like that, but they can't trade him.
I don't think I think Donovan Mitchell is too competitive to be that sensitive about it. I think he would play with him until the end of the year, and after that, be like, all right, well, now we got to split ways.
We're right, and it might be like a Kobe Shaq where they just like their business on the court.
Yeah, exactly.
But aside from that, it doesn't really mess with him.
Donovan Mitchell, he's a dog. I don't think he's gonna like hurt his chances of winning because of one little thing. I mean, it's not little really, but it's in the past.
Right, and it's not like as bad as it's as it is or whatever, and how he treated it. We know that Gobert didn't think he actually had it. Like if he actually thought, he wouldn't be doing, touching the microphone during press conferences, joking around. Supposedly the team came out and said he was touching their stuff. And 2 or 3 players came out with Corona afterwards. So
as serious as it all was, I don't think the worst thing in the world to be is childish. I mean, it's pretty bad to be, but it's not the worst thing in the world.
Right.
I've seen a lot worse players in the NBA than a childish Gobert who just was ignorant during that whole situation when it wasn't in the beginning.
Oh yeah, no one knew it was going to be this. So,
yeah.
I don't really hold it against him, but it's hard to look past it. It really is. The optics, the way it looks, it's hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
I just wonder if it'll play into the voting at all.
I don't think it would.
Did you even consider anyone else for defensive player of the year?
Giannis.
I did too, but I didn't know if that was a bias on my part.
No, I mean his team is the best defensive rating. He's averaging a block, a steal, and 13.8 rebounds a game. He could have more blocks. Gobert doubles him, and Anthony Davis more than doubles him. Right. But I have a top 3 for each one, and I couldn't really think of anyone else besides those 2.
The thing is,
Kawhi didn't play enough. Draymond's team was garbage, and he was hurt a lot. Or he just didn't play a lot.
He was, he got hurt a little bit there.
I would say a lot though, but he got hurt.
Right. Do you have a threshold of like how many games or what percentage of games someone needs to play in order to be considered for these awards? Like basically for Kawhi situation, regardless of what the reason is that they're not playing.
It depends. Like I think there should be like it should be circumstantial. Like for example. If let's say if Zion came in with however games that he played and he brought his team all the way back into the playoffs, something like that, I would have to think about like that. But with Kawhi going in and out, that just messes up the team's their flow. So I wouldn't really consider that. It all depends. It all depends really.
All right, just wondering how much that played into it. Did you have? I mean, and talking about like the stats that you were saying that AD and Gobert, triple, double or triple, whatever the blocks and steals or however many it works. I think it matters. It doesn't really matter as much because Giannis plays a different position. Gobert and AD are playing more towards the rim, so they have more opportunities for blocks. People are driving to the rim, especially in this league now where it's a lot of threes and layups. Where Giannis is playing on the outside more so than not defensively.
He's playing on the wings inside of the wings, really, so it hurts him both ways. So
right. It's harder to get it's harder to get a block when you're chasing after someone or chasing to the ball, and then you have to jump as opposed to you're already standing there and you just have to judge which way the ball is going to go. And you're already bigger than everyone else. I mean, they all are.
So he still averages 1 per game at that.
Right. No, he's still a great defensive player.
Yeah. So who'd you have? AD?
Oh, AD. Okay. It was between him and Giannis for me. Gobert does well. I just like other contributions on the court. I know this is just a defensive player of the year. But I think their defense really favors him because they kind of just funnel everyone to Gobert to use him for his great defensive prowess. And I mean, he's great. Like everyone knows that.
Yeah, he's a beast.
But I think it inflates his numbers some, just the way that they play. The same way that he has a high field goal percentage. He has a great field goal percentage and rebounds. It's because the way he plays is just pick and rolls, dump offs, things like that. So yeah, those numbers are going to look good because they only ask him to do 2 things. Where AD and Giannis are expected to do things on the other side of the ball too. So I take that into account, a more holistic look to the game.
I definitely agree with that, 100%.
No.
But as we're going to move on to Rookie of the Year, and as I was saying, I kind of foreshadowed a little bit. If Zion had brought his team to the playoffs, I would have had him win Rookie of the Year. But nah, I'm doing this to my man Ja. Where is Ja? Ja Morant.
I'm just trying to think about it because – so would it matter if he gets him to the playoffs, he gets him to the 8th seed, and then he gets swept? I know it's a regular season award, but the 8th seed – I mean, half the league makes the playoffs, so it's not – you should make the playoffs, especially with a team – this team's not terrible.
With their expectations that were coming to the year, they were terrible expectations.
I don't know why they would have terrible expectations. They have Lonzo, Drew, B.I. B.I.'s taken a big step forward. I think that he would be more the reason why they get to the playoffs than Zion.
See, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Ja Morant at first.
Oh, no. Ja. Oh, no. Ja's my pick, too. I'm talking about Zion where you even – like, I didn't even consider it. Like, I know people are going to say Zion, but that's more of a – people love Zion more than he's accomplished anything yet, in my opinion.
He's just a star in the making. You can see it. You can see the way he plays, the way he carries himself. I love how humble he is, though.
He has to be humble. He keeps getting hurt.
I mean, still, you can be a non-humble player and just keep like blaming on that instead of him just going and working, get back on the court and doesn't complain about it ever.
True. I mean, I think I just get tired of all the conversation where it's saying like he's great. Look at what he can do. It's like, yeah, but I mean, look at his body. It's not very conducive to like a long career, especially the way he plays, banging into people, jumping into people, like a lot of bouncing around on those knees, a lot of weight. So, but
yeah, I don't know. But speaking of if they were to get swept, it doesn't matter. I think making the playoffs is still a big deal, especially as a rookie. Okay. And it would have extended what's his name? JJ Redick's playoff streak. Yeah, he would have went to like 15 or 16 straight playoffs.
That's just like the Steve Kerr thing, where Steve Kerr's the only player to win 4 straight or whatever it was. I saw some stat where it's basically because he had the 3 with the Bulls and then he happened to go to the Spurs the following year and win a championship. And it's like, all right,
yeah, I mean,
you were on the team. But
JJ Redick is still a good player.
No, he's a good player.
Steve Kerr was a good player too.
Right, but no one's going to say they're the reasons why they won.
Yeah, true.
So it's like
I just want to throw that in there.
Throw that shit away. Oh, I mean, throw that away.
Whoa, Redick is don't be doing Redick like that. Redick is good.
I mean, I think I'm more impressed with Ja because of where they're like what you were talking about, the team expectations at the beginning of the year compared to because he's working with much less and they're in the 8th seed. They have been consistently better than what everyone expected. Where I would say that the Pelicans have underwhelmed.
I gotta tell you though, Memphis, whoever is like the GM, I don't know who the GM is. I gotta look that up. They're doing great with picking defensive players still, with Dylan Brooks and with Brandon Clark. What was that?
Triple J.
Yeah, Triple J too. Like all of them,
Yeah,
they're
he's
such
great.
good defensive players.
I
Like
wish
they're doing really well with just picking defensive studs.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to get some offense at some point. Where Ja's great, he's really aggressive. I love the way he attacks the basket. Gets a lot of fouls and things like that. But I think he's gonna need a second guy with him. Probably a second wing.
So who do you think would be the perfect player to fit in Memphis?
I think he needs. I think a good young vet that's able to handle the basketball, take the load off a little bit, and score.
So you mean someone like Andre Iguodala?
Oh, goodness, no.
I
I was
don't
thinking
know.
like a.
He was so disrespectful to Memphis, man. Like
They had no chance of winning. He's not going to waste his time there. He came to
I,
a great team.
I mean, like what? You couldn't be that humble vet and help the young guys after you won 3?
Got time for
Come
that.
on, man.
Got time for that. He's too old. He only got maybe a year or so left in the league. He's got to like. I could be a coach if I really want to help the young guy. Now, but I would say like a Bradley Beal type. Someone who could stretch the floor. He could ball handle. He could be the facilitator for the offensive job. Needs a break, needs a breather, whatever. He's capable defensively. I don't know how they would get Beal. I wouldn't trade Triple J. I feel like it would take him plus to get Bradley.
Dylan Brooks, probably a first. That's still too much. I think.
I don't believe in gutting the team to get these guys, especially when guys can move in.
This isn't 2K.
Yeah, I mean, especially when guys can move in free agency like they can. But the one thing is, it's Memphis. No one's. I don't know if you're gonna really want to go there, even with the money you could offer. So
I've heard Memphis is a great city from a lot of people.
Oh yeah, but that's not the first place you want to go when you're.
Oh
like,
no,
I want to be.
I'm
I'm an NBA player. I want to go. That's where I want to go to Memphis.
You want to go to LA, Miami, New York for some reason.
You want to go to those? We mean New York for some reason. It's obvious why you'd want to go to New York.
I mean, if you're an NBA player, you're not really like. I feel like New York is big for. If you're big into fashion and NBA, then yeah, New York good for you. Other than that, they're one of the like party cities, the bigger party cities.
Like where?
LA or Miami.
There's only New York is top 3. So
yeah, but like for the most part, New York teams haven't been historically good.
You always believe you could be, and if they're going to pay you the same, there's a lot to do with money outside of basketball where they have a lot of marketing because you're in a big market. You're in the biggest market in the world, biggest hub.
I don't know. For me, as much as I love New York, if I was an NBA player, I'd want to live in. If I was really rich, I'd want to live in Miami or LA.
I mean, yeah, but you can anywhere you go is a party. So it doesn't matter if you go to Miami, you go to LA. Like there's certain extra things that you get from being in these cities. New York, you get to be. You're just the reason why LeBron's in LA probably it plays into the next stage of his career if he wants to do the Hollywood thing. Mm-hmm. He's just it's easier to smooth after the game if you're already living in LA with the certain people as opposed to like no one's in Memphis after your game. You're going home.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah. I agree on Memphis. I agree.
So, but anyways,
yeah.
I don't know how we got there. Oh,
so did you have any like third players who you would consider for rookie of the year?
I mean, there are guys that came up that when I was looking through it, but no one that I really considered. It was Ja.
Not even your boy Kendrick Nunn?
Yeah, no. Well, Kendrick's not a rookie.
He is a rookie.
Someone look into that.
You're a Heat fan.
Kendrick Nunn. No, he played last year.
Nunn's a rookie, bro.
Someone. This is great podcasting. You hear typing.
Yeah, like I'm telling you, he's a rookie. Like he's an old one, but he's a rookie.
I thought he played the last few games of the season. Oh shit. He's I guess technically he's a rookie.
Oh no, I mean
no.
He played
there it is.
D League. So nah, yeah, you're right.
That don't count. I know. I was like, hold up. I was like
wait, did he play a game last year?
I thought he played like 2 or 3 games last year. Now I gotta look at this up. After this commercial break, we will get back to you guys on our next sponsors.
Oh yeah, he played a couple of games. All right, man, you're right.
There we go. I was like,
all right.
No, am I making that up?
Yeah, say none.
Shoot,
none.
Yeah, you don't know none. All right. Go ahead. Next up. So let's see. We're gonna go to the most improved. So most improved player of the year. Who did you have, Haytham? Hassan? The people want to know.
I had your boy Bam Adebayo, most improved player of the year.
I had someone different.
Who did you have?
I like Bam, but I saw it coming because Heat fan, whatever like that. And I'm also real scared of playing biases because I have my favorites, Bam, Giannis, players like that contribute on both sides of the floor, multifaceted, whatever. I went BI.
I had Brandon in a second on my list.
Okay, well, there you go.
So the reason why I did so what's most true, it's all about how you did last year compared to this year. So
Right.
Bam's differences from last year to this year were just better than Brandon's to me. Brandon had the section of numbers,
Yeah.
but I think Bam had the bigger improvement. He had a 7.3 point per game improvement, 3.2 rebounds, 2.9 assists, 0.3 steals, and 0.5 blocks. Improved all across the boards and by a lot. Brandon Ingram, he had 6 points per game, 1.2 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 0.5 steals, and 0.1 blocks improvement from last year. A good improvement still, but I just thought Adebayo was better, and with his team success, I put that in part of it too.
Yeah. When I'm thinking about the improvement from year to year, I would say that individually, Brandon Ingram is personally, I think Brandon Ingram has done better. He's improved, hence why I picked him. But when I'm thinking about the team success, I would probably say Bam because we didn't expect Miami to be top 4 seed in the East.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's
a big reason for it.
Absolutely.
They're big reasons for it.
But I think that as good as I was talking about the Pelicans team being, it's not very deep. I think that Miami has a better infrastructure around Bam, a better team, better coaching, better front office. And in my head, I could kind of see Bam making the jump. Not this good, but making this jump where BI, it was kind of like, oh, he'll just be the same thing he was last year, especially when he's going from LA to New Orleans. He got thrown away basically for Anthony Davis to come over. There's a lot of excuses why you could say like BI wouldn't have a good year, and instead he's turned that on its head.
No, so I disagree with that. I think Brandon Ingram, everyone's just waiting for it. Like, all right, he's gonna have that jump 1 year. He's gonna have that jump 1 year. He's gonna have jump 1 year, and he had little gradual improvements. Last year, he didn't have a bad year. He had 18.3 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. So it's not a bad year. But this year he made that jump with 24.3 points, and he was a man in New Orleans. He was the one who was doing the scoring.
Yeah,
and Lonzo was a great facilitator for him too. It worked. I think it was the perfect storm for him to improve. That with also probably his motivation of LeBron pretty much trading him out of there for AD.
I mean, who knows? Because even with these guys that have motivation, you still need to put it on the court. And we're like, everyone falls in love with the like, oh, the potential. You could see it. You could see it. I was like, yeah, but and when it happens, everyone's like, oh, I told you, I saw it. We saw it, right? But what about the other 4 or 5 times when it didn't work out? Where you're just like, oh, like he was supposed to be. And I was like, well, you got that one right, but if you keep taking shots at everyone that looks kind of good, then you're gonna hit on one. I didn't expect this at all.
It also
from BI.
The pressure of playing in LA. You see Julius Randle improving tremendously since leaving LA. You see D'Angelo Russell balling the hell out ever since he left LA. You see with Brandon Ingram, who else? Jordan Clarkson is doing really well. Who else? Like a lot of players.
Larry Nance.
He's okay.
Not like great, but
yeah,
if we're talking improvement. But I don't know how much of that is improved as opposed to them just becoming older players, because like those LA is the one who drafted those players. So they had them young. They would hopefully get better as the longer that they stay in the league. And you never know. It could not be them leaving LA and the pressure of LA. It's just getting traded away from the team that drafted them. Basically, like the team's giving up, saying like, we don't think you're going to turn out the way we liked. And that could be a motivating factor, not because it's LA per se, but it's that first team that like gave you, help you realize your dream of playing in the NBA.
I think it is LA because of Kobe retiring and LeBron coming in. That little gap, that's where most of them were drafted within that gap. And with Kobe, with his last years, they were with Kobe's last year, like Lou Williams said on All the Smoke. They're pretty much saying, well, all right, rookies, we're going to develop you. But then, all right, guys, you're the ball of Kobe. Like, you can't develop like that. And then after that, it's like, all right, well, now we have our own team. Then, boom, enters LeBron, and he does his moves like he always does.
Right.
It was that it was the worst time period for them to be in LA.
True. I don't know, but I mean, I know I'm probably nitpicking at it a little bit, but when I say it's not about playing in LA, it's not about playing in LA. It's about playing with those players in particular. It's about playing with Kobe or these win now players, these superstars. And they wanted to come to LA because it's LA. I think it'd be the same if they went to Boston or and they had the win now mentality, or if they had like, if they went to any other locale that's like that. Like I think Miami is very good about the win now mentality, even if they don't have all the players. Before Jimmy Butler, they were still trying to win games as opposed to tanking like most people would typically do.
Which I respect. I'm never a fan of tanking. Like if I'm a fan and I'm paying to watch you, like, I don't want to watch you lose games on purpose. The fuck kind of like
it's unfortunate too because they talk about Miami like most of the fans don't show up till halftime anyway, so it's like
really?
Well, it's like a thing where it's like everyone, all the young people without money are going like normal, but a lot of the fans will show up because it's a party city. Mm-hmm. It's more of like an event rather than a basketball game you're going to attend. But anyways, next up. So sorry, that was most improved. We got off a little bit, but that's what we're here for. We're here to talk to you guys.
Sports, so I don't think it's off track at all.
Yeah, there we go. So next I got 6th man of the year. I went a little bit off, but not totally off. I think this is a team that I think is doing kind of like a practice rehearsal, trying to get ready for the NBA Finals, the LA Clippers. And I went with Montrezl Harrell.
See, I went with his teammate, but not him. I thought I got Lou in his 4th.
So I think, Lou was in there for me too. I think it's a little different for him this year because I know he's supposed to come off the bench and be instant offense. Mm-hmm. But I think it's more so, it's the one side of the coin where it's Lou Williams and Montrezl both coming off the bench and playing with one another. That pick and roll, deadly is great. But I think that when it comes down to crunch time, Lou Williams will still get the ball some and things like that. But I think they'll do more of a 1-2 punch where the Clippers will always make sure either Kawhi or PG is always on the floor, and they'll be the primary ball handlers. And so Lou will always be that second. But they don't have bigs a lot. They don't have a lot of depth at the bigs position. They have Zubac. But aside from that, like, and he's he's a slow-footed big man, 7 foot, truly 7-footer. They don't really have much depth over there. I think they have a lot of wings. They got the Patrick Beverleys of the world and stuff like that. I think that they were looking for. That's why they went to get Morris from New York right at the trade deadline. I forget which one it is. I always forget. I think it's
Marcus.
Is it Marcus?
Yeah.
I was going to say Markeith.
No, it's Marcus.
So like they're looking for help at the big at the front court. So I think it's that he plays a more vital role. Personally, I mean, it's if you went with Lou Williams over Montrezl, I wouldn't be mad at it.
So I actually don't have Montrezl in my top 3. The only reason why I have Lou Williams in my top 3. At first, I wasn't going to because he's on such a good team. But the fact that in the 4th quarter, they still go to him, that's why I have him here. A lot of his points are in the 4th quarter, and he has Kawhi and PG, and he's still taking those shots and making those shots. If you watch a lot of their games, he's the one that's doing the heroics. Him and Patrick Beverley for some reason, and Landry Shamet. those 3 players I see are
Landry Shamet,
yeah, they're the ones that are taking the late game shots. They don't. Paul George and Kawhi are kind of like decoys. I feel.
What's it called? So who are your other top 3 if you didn't have Montrezl?
I got Derrick Rose and I got Dennis Schroeder. So Derrick Rose is averaging 18.1.
I had Dennis Schroeder.
5.6 assists, 2.4 rebounds, 0.8 steals, and in 26 minutes only.
I don't really like Derrick Rose. I don't know, like his whole attitude, his demeanor. Back when he was on top of the world, and he was he was working his way back from the injury, where he was saying something along the lines like, "I want to, like, if I can walk away from basketball at any time I want to." I was like, "Yeah, we know, fine." He was like, "I want to be able, like, I might not play or whatever. I want to be able to walk right to my kid's graduation," or whatever he was trying to say. Mm-hmm. It made me feel like he's not trying to give, like, this is me talking, non-athletic world athlete like he is, but makes me feel like he didn't want to give everything he had for the game, and he would just do it when it was convenient. And I'm sure he loves basketball, but I feel like he loves it much more now. But ever since he had those same kind of moods and things about him. Just been turned off. Plus, I
I
was a
think
Heat fan, so
ever since he hit that 50-point game and saw the love he got, I think the love in basketball came back to him.
So
I
it
don't know.
shouldn't. I mean, you shouldn't need that if you really love the game. I mean, you get paid millions of dollars to play a game. It's awesome.
Hey man, people lose love with their wives, let alone the sport they play in. Like things happen. Things humble you. He
Yeah,
had multiple knee injuries. That
right.
humbles a person. That he had a big deal. He had his own shoe. He was
Yeah,
MVP, and then just went boom.
right.
That I'm surprised he didn't quit. The fact that he's still playing, that's huge.
Yeah,
I can't knock a man for being mad at the world for things like that happening. You know, he had the Mike Tyson effect, go from the top of the world to the bottom for a second.
yeah.
He's trying to climb back to that now. So I gotta respect that.
I think what turned me off at that point, it wasn't like he was prompt and saying like, "Oh, like, are you going to quit? Are you going to do it?" It was like, "How are you doing?" or like, "How's the prehab?" or something like that. And he was basically saying like, or something about like, "When you coming back?" Because it was that thing where he was supposed to come back at the end of the first year, but he never ended up coming back in the playoffs like everyone expected. Everyone wanted.
When he kept saying he had muscle memory issues, and that's why
Yeah,
he's missing games. But
where it was like he was on the side. It was like, oh, he'd warm up, run around, and then he wouldn't play and he never played. And
that's
then he,
fear. That's all fear, in my opinion. Fear
yeah,
just messing that knee up again, and it's a real fear.
no, I get that. I'm not going to talk about my baby injury. Um, no, I get that. So it just turned me off at that point.
I don't know.
So,
But yeah, Derrick Rose and Dennis Schroeder were my other two, besides Lou. But I
yeah.
mean, if Lou wins, he's on the most what's called six man of the years of all time. Do you think Lou Williams, if he gets this, do you think he's a Hall of Famer?
I I don't like the way the NBA does the Hall of Fame. Um,
Well, they do high school. They do all basketball.
yeah, I know.
Your high
It's
school,
not. It's not.
college, your what's called
It's
your
not necessarily like the way they take a look at your contributions to basketball in general. It's just like they give it to the guys that are like. I remember Skip Bayless said this once, where it was, if I had to think about it, then I don't think you deserve to be in. Like, I want the Hall of Fame to be absolute best. Like it should be really freaking hard to get in.
So it's like, all right. So I know I'm switching sports, but do you think so? So you don't think Devin Hester is a Hall of Famer?
No,
Oh my God! All
not
right.
because you're able to do one thing really well. You don't get. I don't think you get in the Hall of Fame for that.
See, he's a goat at kick returns,
Yeah, you
punt
can have
returns.
that. That doesn't
He
mean
he should be in the Hall of Fame just for that alone.
you're in the record books. I don't know. I need you to be like, that's all he was good. He was good at that one, literally the one thing. He wasn't a good receiver. He was a cornerback before. He wasn't good at
He
any other
almost
parts
won
of
his
football.
team a Super Bowl just returning kicks.
He got the first play. He got that kick return and then nothing else.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Well,
that's
that's
a
not almost
touchdown.
winning the game.
How many points did they have that in that Super Bowl?
I fell asleep during that Super
That
Bowl.
was
The Bears Super
that
Bowl
was
was
by
terrible.
far. I'm gonna check,
Nah,
but that was by far the worst Super Bowl I ever watched in my life.
that was terrible.
Rex was the worst.
I just prefer a more, and I like to say it, but like a holistic approach to how this is supposed to be. Like, I feel like you should take someone's resume getting into the Hall of Fame for basketball, football, whatever. You shouldn't just get in because you could take, like, I do like how basketball takes other contributions that you made in other countries or other levels of basketball. That, like, I like that. But if you don't have those other, things on the outside, I don't think that you should get it just because you did one thing really well. You were really good against the second team, Lou Williams. Good job. You were the best of the second team. I don't think you should get in for that. Sorry. If you were so good, you should have started. My thing, you were better against the second team. You're the best of the worst players that are going to see the court that night.
I don't know. I think he put a little disrespect on his name, but
Oh
I
no,
guess
no,
agree,
he's a great player
disagree.
and he could start, but he was obviously more useful to teams coming off that role, instant energy. But I don't think for the point of like you got to be heavily scrutinized to get into the Hall of Fame. I don't think anyone should just get in.
It's trying to off it, but Ben Wallace is not a Hall of Famer yet.
He had a very good peak, I would say 3-4 years, very iconic, especially with the hair.
That's like saying Dwight shouldn't be a Hall of Famer.
No. Dwight's been good for a long time. Dwight's been good for 8-9 years.
Bad point because he even like led the league in Houston in rebounds, but still, Ben Wallace was a beast. Him and Chauncey Billups should both be in the Hall of Fame, and they're not yet.
I would argue more for Billups, who had, I think, a longer, more productive career. I would have to look into it for Ben Wallace's stats, but I mean, it's hard for someone who doesn't like it's defense, so the stats aren't always shown. The pressure that you put on.
What does he have? 4 defensive players of the years? 3 or 4?
I think 4.
4 and 3 of them. I think it was 4 in 5 years, I believe. And
sounds right.
It's crazy because the people who were in the league at that time, the defensive studs in the league, Kevin Garnett's, the Ron Artest, who else is still in the league? Tim Duncan.
That was the last one was like 2004?
2005, I believe.
Something like that. However the season started and end.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. He had a very hot peak. But then you have the other, 5 years on each end of his career that is like, no, he's still a fine player, serviceable, but like it just wasn't the same. Like I don't see how you can take 1/3 of someone because I think he played like 12, 13 years. You can only take like a third to half of his career and be like, oh yeah, like he's Hall of Fame because of he played really well half of his career, even how it was a great half for Ben Wallace in particular.
I don't know. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Everyone gets in the Hall of Fame with you.
Nah, man. The contributions he made to the league and to that team that won and to team that's thrown.
What contribution did he make to the league besides that hair that he never brushed?
He had 4 defensive player of the years.
It's not contributing to the league. It's contributing
to
his
defense.
Own. That's contributing to his award case.
That's defense. Like, man, defense is a lost art. That's a lost playing art, defense. Yeah. Him playing defense that's a contribution to the league.
I think we're talking about contributions is like culturally, like changing the game in a certain way. Something.
And he ended Lakers dynasty.
He did what he was supposed to do. He was supposed to play defense. That's all he could do. He wasn't playing offense.
Bro, he shut down Shaq. Diesel.
He did what he was supposed to do. He played defense. He didn't play offense. He didn't do anything.
He shut down Diesel, man.
Shaq's only a one-time MVP. He wasn't that good.
You're going to lose all the little fans we have right now. You're going to lose all of them with that comment.
One-time MVP. He got one more than me.
Kobe has 1 MVP. What are you trying to say?
Don't bring Kobe up right now. That's hurtful.
Exactly.
That's not
R.I.P.
right.
Kobe.
Yeah, R.I.P. All right, well, let's get into the last one. That was a fun little tangent. We got Coach of the Year. I'm going to jump into it because I went Homer here. I think what he's done has been phenomenal. He's done from where we expected them to be, which is like fringe playoffs, to firmly in the playoff picture. And you could even talk yourself into believing that they could maybe not win it all, but make some real noise. I got Eric Spoelstra. Miami Heat.
He's not on my top 3, but I'm not mad at it. I this year, I think there's a lot of different players, different coaches who could have made their case for Coach of the Year. I got Nick Nurse. The fact that
that's a good one. I had him too.
The fact that they lost Kawhi and they're still they have the third best record in the league. So that's wild to me. That is so
I don't know how they're doing
wild.
It. And they're playing everyone.
Defense, that's why. Their defense is amazing.
They're going 8, 9, 10 players deep. A lot of the teams don't do that, and they're not as they're just like filling a spot. Like, no, they're all good.
Mm-hmm.
They're beating people. I mean, in the East, I would say it's much stronger than it's not much stronger, but it's stronger than the West, where the West is very top heavy, where the top of the West is very good, but then everyone else is
all right. All right. At first I was like, what do you mean stronger? But you mean deeper. All right, yeah.
Deeper, like strength across the board, where it's, and who knows how much that plays into when you have the schedule, like back-to-backs and flying across country. Like, no one can really quantify it the right way. But still, like, it's to say something that they're doing better. They're doing – I mean, we instantly saw Kawhi left. That means they're leaving the playoffs. They're done. Like, they traded –
I didn't think that, but I didn't think they're going to be second best team in the East.
I didn't
Like,
know. I didn't think Pascal Siakam was going to be doing as well as he is. That's where he started to show it in the playoffs, and I was like, oh, he's like, this is just a hot streak run, something.
nah, he's a beast.
No, he leveled up. It's
Him
wild.
and Van Fleet and Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry is having a great year.
Oh yeah,
I thought he was overpaid when they gave him that $30 million for 1 year deal. I was like, well, why? But
yeah.
now I see it now.
They're going for it. I mean, it's unfortunate because this is a really interesting season, and I love the NBA more so this year than I have in past because it's not 2 or 3 teams. We believe it'll be like Lakers, Clippers, and then the Bucks. But you could, if someone dethroned someone on either side, you'd be like, well, maybe not in the West, but in the East, that's a fun race to watch. It's more fun when there's parity. It's more fun when there's a chance that there could be upsets. That's why people love March Madness because every game that you got to try. It's not like, oh, they're going to – no, we know the Warriors are going to win. They're going to win 5, 6, or 7.
Yeah, honestly, like when Kawhi went to LA, that just reset the league and it made it just balance over. I was so happy when that happened. I'm so upset that COVID just ruined everything for us.
Yeah, no. I'm excited because I'm interested to see if they start the league back up. And I really hope they do. And I hope that the players come back because Ben Simmons will be healthy. Who knows? Durant might show up.
I would say Kyrie has a better chance than Durant.
I don't know. I mean, Durant got hurt last year and he hasn't really played at all. So
he said he would not come back no matter what this year. I believe he wouldn't.
I mean, that's fine. But still, like, even coming next
year. Thompson maybe, though. They're not maybe playoffs. Never mind.
No, they ain't maybe.
Off topic just a little bit.
That's not like us.
Do you think the Warriors are gonna trade their draft pick and pieces for Giannis?
God, I hope.
Reports of mutual interest.
But what would they trade? Their draft pick will be probably pretty good.
Top 3 probably.
I hate their lottery process.
Yes,
but it's necessary.
We'll see. They might get first. They might get 7th.
It makes a difference. Who else though? Would they trade Clay?
They would have to trade Wiggins. Yeah, they would have
no
trade
one cares about Wiggins.
Pascal probably and the young guys. And
so
I think
so. It'd be Steph, Clay, Giannis.
That would be the big 3, and Draymond, big 4.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants Draymond.
I like Draymond.
You want him on the Nuggets?
I would love him on the Nuggets. We have a fast-paced team. That would be perfect. Get Millsap. I would gladly switch out Millsap for Draymond.
Oh, that's not fair. You can't trade out one of your worst players.
I'm gonna trade out the power forward. I don't think he's the worst.
Trade him out for Will Barton.
I like Barton. I don't know why. I love me some Will Barton, man. He's a dog. What he did for us in the playoffs last year, first he had a bad series against the Spurs, and then in the Portland series, he was so good for us.
He's got that mentality, shoot it. Like, that's my job. I got to do this. Like, if you miss a whole bunch, if he makes a whole bunch, he's going to do his job. He's going to do it to the best of his abilities, not let anything phase him.
The energy he has. But I think on the flip side, Paul Millsap grabbed that playoff experience for us last year. I saw it. I went to a home game last year, living in Denver. That was fun.
Man, I hope sports come back. I really do.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, Spoelstra was my coach of the year. I don't know how long this podcast has been going for, but we should probably cut it soon. Do you have anything else you wanted to say to the peoples?
Nah. Thanks for tuning in and watching this basketball episode.
Yeah,
I love talking about basketball, so I'm always down to do that.
Yeah, keep checking us out: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Helmets and Hoops. I'm Sean Samlal. He's
Haytham Hassan.
All right.
See you guys later.
All right, over and out.